hopping a hand for
Be careful. He's
and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
we usually drink bourbon on our end.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories.
And welcome to the Acement, everybody. This is Scott Higgins.
And this is Acecito.
It is time to go behind the funny.
Yes.
And do not adjust your sets. Tonight we're having a threesome.
Yes.
Wait a minute, that didn't come out right.
It's a thruple.
It's a
whatever.
Yeah. Our guest is in studio tonight, but before we get to that, we brought back our bourbon date from last week. She is joining us, but I don't know that she's going to make it all the way to the end of the podcast tonight, Ace.
No, I know.
Yeah, Angel's Envy is joining us again to start off the podcast. Angel's Envy is a great bourbon. If you guys have not had it before, it is one of the better high-end bourbons out there. So we definitely say go out there and give that a try if you haven't had it.
Keep talking. Keep talking. We're having trouble on our Twitch channel, so I have to try and add it back.
No
Hold
worries.
on.
No worries. And all of you that have been helping us out, with spreading the word, we appreciate that. If you could continue to do so, tell a friend about us. That is the best way to spread the word about the podcast. I have picked up on a couple of new podcasts that I've been listening to on recommendations of people. So, that's the best way. If you enjoy Behind the Funny, please tell a friend. And of course, a great way to help us out. It is a huge help. You guys helped us out a couple of months ago. We could use the help again. If you haven't done so, a 5-star written review. That is the single biggest way to help us out when it comes to the Apple podcast charts and things like that.
Absolutely.
That is the single most important thing you can do. So
And it doesn't
haven't done so, please help us out.
And
with
it
that.
doesn't have to be a whole paragraph. It could just be like, love this show, or just a couple of words or a sentence. It really, really helps us with getting the word out. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. So we appreciate you guys, and thank you for joining us live here on Wednesday night. If you're watching us live, if you're listening, if you've downloaded and listened, join us live on Wednesday night. We go live at 8:30. You can catch us two places. First is twitch.tv/drinks, jokes, and storytelling. We're part of a network there. And you can also find us on Aces and my Facebook page. We broadcast live there as well.
And the Behind the Funny page.
Thank you.
So we have a
for adding
Behind
that
the
as
Funny
well.
page on Facebook. You can catch it there as well.
I was being a little narcissistic there by trying to
Just push our pages.
Yeah,
That's
just
fine.
push our
That's
pages.
fine. But we do have a drinks, a Behind the Funny page.
Yes,
So.
we broadcast, and Ace sets it up so that it broadcasts live there as well. So there's many places if you want to join us live, and you can interact with us when you join us live. Give a shout out, throw some questions, anything you like. But either way, whether you join us live, whether you download us, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we really do. And so listen, we've talked about this for
Yes,
the past
we
couple
have.
of weeks. And we promoted it on Facebook, and we're really excited to have our guest in studio tonight. We haven't had a guest in studio since we went live on Twitch.
You're right.
Right?
I don't think so.
And unfortunately, you're a first, and we got a guy who's got a face for radio to be on video. Hey,
I tell you.
Hey,
Touch.
no, we are so excited to have this guy on. So let me give you a little background. About 25 years ago, I interviewed for a job, and I auditioned for a movie, an independent film. And I said, there's no way I'll get both. And I got both.
Because you're awesome.
And I got the job as a new salesperson at a pharmaceutical company. and I got a role in a movie where I was playing a brand new salesperson. And both of them happened at the same time. It was the summer of 1997, and I did this movie, and I was told at the time, listen, I can't pay you, but
You're always
but if this movie goes somewhere, you'll get a big part of the pay because you're the lead role, you're the lead character. And yeah, so I'm still living in my basement, not getting paid from this fucking movie, but
And
I made
the nominations for Best Actor in an Independent Film
is not Ace Aceto. I cannot tell you how much I value the friendships that I made by doing this movie, and especially with the guy sitting to my left. He made this movie. He wrote, directed, financed, produced everything about this movie. And the movie didn't go anywhere but YouTube. But then he decided to write a book about it. And the book is actually doing better than the fucking movie, which is great. Because the movie didn't get picked up, but the book got picked up by publishers. So I want to welcome to the Behind the Funny podcast, Mr. Nick Pasyanos.
Thank you, Nate.
Thanks, buddy.
That's a great.
How's
intro.
that for an intro?
That's
huh?
an awesome intro.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've been drinking bourbon, so anything is awesome at this point, right?
Yeah. I
know.
Got more.
Yeah, we do. We've got all kinds of varieties. We'll finish all these bottles by the end of the night. No, but you know what? I absolutely love this guy. He literally is like a brother to me, and we don't see each other all the time, but I love whenever, every once in a while, I would get like an email from him going, hey, I'm still working on the book.
It's only 15 years.
Yeah, it's 15 years.
15-year
The
ride.
movie was 25 years ago. He started writing the book 15 years ago, and it's finally published. But let's go back to how did you? All right, he's going to hold the book, which actually it shows the movie poster, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I will say, so how did you decide to write a movie? Because you were a box salesman, right?
Yes. I'm a box salesman, and I've been a movie
Buff.
geek, buff geek, whatever you want to call it, my whole life. And I got to experience some films made live, like Amistad in Newport.
Yep.
And True Lies.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there going, wow, this is awesome. I would want to do this. Plus, I also have always run a part-time portrait photography and wedding business.
Yep.
So photography wasn't anything I was
wasn't new to you.
Wasn't new to me, but filmmaking, obviously, you have to learn. So I thought, well, first thing I was going to do is I was going to write a script. So I started writing scripts, and you know, they're so good they reside in my closet. Okay.
I believe I remember one called "A Fool and His Money."
That was after.
That was after Dumb and Dumber,
BOXedMAN,
right?
That was after BOXedMAN.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
so you had other ones.
So I wrote.
And
I wrote
Chevy
a couple
Chase,
things.
I believe, was going to be the lead in that one, correctly?
Oh, actually, I had Adam Sandler planned for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
there we go.
All right.
And
You were going younger at the
script.
time.
I got the script to his agent.
You really did?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Oh,
But,
wow.
but they didn't. It didn't gel. So anyway, that was after the failure of BOXedMAN. You just got to keep going. No, you know what? I'm like, just keep hitting it.
He's the
man.
eternal
Just keep-
optimist. That's
Shit,
it.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, I wrote this script, BOXedMAN. You write about what you know, right? I'm a box salesman, and I was I had enough anecdotal stories and just experiences in my selling career that it kind of gave me some framework, and then I wrote. The rest of the stuff was all fiction, and I was kind of happy with it when I was done. I was like, okay, now I'm ready to pitch it people who will not take my phone calls. And that's pretty much
Especially
where you're at.
because you're doing it from Rhode Island, which everyone knows is the hotbed of fucking
shit,
movie
yeah.
production.
Let me ask you, Nick, though. I mean, it's one thing to write down stories that you've had from your career
Yeah.
and put this whole story together.
around it.
But how did you figure out how to put it in a script form?
Well,
Because that's a very specific way to write something out.
Yeah, well, it is. And I bought a book on
Okay.
screenplays, and at the time there was software available. There was software available that would that gave you the framework. Really, all you do is you
It was
plug
like
in
a template, right?
this person, and it was easier for me to write as the protagonist of the movie ended up being Rick, which is Ace's real name, which is bizarre. But in the script, I had it as Nick because it was easier for me to just reference, I'm the guy.
Right.
Okay. So
right.
so the screenplay, which actually is in the end of the book,
Mhm.
Oh, it
entire
is.
Screenplay is there, and you'll see it written as Nick for all of Ace's lines.
Oh wow.
So anyway, I wrote the script and I'm like, okay, now where do I start? I get all these books on agents and publishers, and now I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm just gonna get ground down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there were two filmmakers, young filmmakers, that had made it. I mean, really made it. Robert Rodriguez
Yep.
and Quentin
Tarantino, wasn't it?
No, not. This is Tarantino came after. Ed Burns.
Oh, Ed Burns.
Oh,
These
yeah.
two
The Brothers
guys,
McMullen.
my brothers McMullen. Yep. And anyway, I read about how they made their movies, and they were small budgets, $25,000. Robert Rodriguez did his for $7,000.
Right.
And that
which
was
is unbelievable.
El Mariachi.
Yep, that's you are.
I remember.
you are Mr.
Wow.
I remember
you
this
are
stuff.
on, man. You
You know
are
why?
on.
He's got
Because-
no notes.
Because
Yeah,
when
no,
we
no,
were
that's right.
making the movie, he was so passionate about movie making, and he explained to me like what the motivation behind making
Yeah.
the movie was. And he was like, I watched El Mariachi. And the thing with Nick was, this was during the days where like DVDs were brand new, but laser
But
discs
they weren't out yet.
no
DVDs
laser
weren't-
discs had
laser
come
discs
out,
weren't. That
Right.
was,
but
that was,
laser discs were like the size of a fucking album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
33.
12-inch flat.
but
album,
they had directors commentary over the movie. That's how he really learned
I learned a lot
about how to
Wow.
make a movie, was these directors talking about, oh yeah, so the way I set up this shot was this and this and that. And that's how he learned. And he got so passionate that as we were making the movie, he was like, oh yeah, well, Robert Rodriguez did this, and for this scene
Yeah.
he did this, and so it stuck with me that and Brothers McMullen, the way
Yeah.
Ed Burns made Brothers McMullen, which was another independent film,
and-
it just stuck with me.
Yep,
Right.
yep. And Chris Columbus, when he made Mrs. Doubtfire,
Yep.
the Laserdisc, there was a thing on how to get around doing a crowd scene, and we needed that at my cousin's beer keg party.
Yes.
So we were able to dub that in only because what I learned from off the Laserdisc. So
Right.
yeah, so it was like really cool. I had like too much info in my head.
No,
So
but,
anyway.
but that is really a brilliant way to learn, because a lot of people listen to that just for that kind of peek behind the curtain type of thing.
Yeah.
And you're instead
He was
using
actually
it like a
learning.
textbook,
Yeah.
I was,
Absolutely.
which is really smart.
So getting back to the book. So anyway, I got the script and I'm gonna stop pitching it to nobody. And I read Robert Rodriguez's book, and in the last chapter, he says, if you have aspirations to make a movie, just go out and do it. Don't sit there, wait for Hollywood to invite you. He
Mhm.
said, be scary. Okay, I read that and I'm going, yeah. I'm gonna freaking be scary. So I called my girlfriend. I said, you know what? Screw this pitching it to people. I am gonna make this BOXedMAN. I think she looked at me like, you're out of your
You're out of
fucking
your
mind.
fucking-
You're out of your fucking mind.
Right. Exactly. I remember.
Yep. And that was it. At that point, I was all in. I was like,
And the biggest expense was the camera, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
it the camera initially before the
camera
film?
was like,
And so I remember you saying, I went down to New York City. I got this camera used,
You-
and it was what, $6,000?
Yeah, $6,500 for a
16.
30-year-old film camera.
So you were recording on actual film back
Sick-
then. It
oh,
wasn't
yeah.
digital
yeah,
recording.
And it wasn't even-
cheesy film.
and it
This
wasn't-
was video.
and
This
it wasn't 32 or 36 millimeter. It was 16 millimeter.
16 millimeter, which was more the cost-effective way of shooting. 35 is what Hollywood shoots.
Right.
Right.
16 is what younger filmmakers, earlier filmmakers use 16. But still, I shot on film, which is costly because the cost of buying the film, processing the film, running key codes for the editor to work with. It basically came to, it was $38 for every minute that camera ran.
Wow.
Okay, and that was in 1997 money, and I'm financing this shit myself.
Right.
And I'll tell you, when an actor would fuck up a line, all I'd see is dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is why, like, you know, when you watch movies and you see like a Jim Carrey movie and they fuck around and they have all these bloopers. We had 2 bloopers in that whole fucking movie.
I know. Yeah,
we had 2 times because I felt
he never missed a line.
Well, because I knew that it was costing him money, so I never wanted to just like do a fuck around take.
You didn't want to be the one that was costing him
money. No,
money.
exactly. Right. So I felt so bad that I was like, no, I'm not going to mess up.
Yeah, he did not blow one line. In fact, not only did Ace know his lines, he knew other people's lines.
Well, because in all fairness to him, most times when a director is on the movie, they're working with the actors like, okay, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. He was so worried about setting up the shot and getting the lighting right and getting the camera right that he didn't really have time to work with the actors. So I was the one going, all right, just calm down. Like, I'll never forget the scene at Billy Price's office.
Yeah.
The secretary had no acting experience.
Yeah.
But she was so nervous. She was messing up lines during rehearsals. And so I was like, all right, calm down. I wrote out all her lines on Post-it notes and put it up in front of her on her cubicle so that she could literally pick up the phone and go, hello, Billy Price's office. And she was reading a Post-it note.
Yeah.
You know, but I just felt so bad that he was spending so much money that I didn't want anything wasted.
Did you know Ace before this movie?
No.
How I ended up casting him, I had in my mind, I had a vision of what I wanted. And I went to a lot of theater groups, dinner places, dinner clubs,
dinner theaters,
dinner theaters.
Yeah.
And the directors of these places were really most helpful. They would share headshots of actors and work with them. And they said, oh, yeah, you could work with this person. This is a great actor. And this one is so skilled, but he's got a good look, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm going to one after the other. And I did some screen tests and like, I'm coming up with nothing, goose eggs. I'm like, Christ, I got to get this movie going. So then I cast my female protagonist who needed not to be pregnant, but she is in real life. So now
at the very beginning of the shoot, yeah.
Yeah. So the girl I have for my lead actress is pregnant, but not showing yet. But I know she's gonna soon, and I need to start shooting soon. And I don't have the lead. So anyway, I called some other director in Providence, and he said he knew this guy. He said, "Hey, Cito."
Well, didn't Terry?
Huh?
But didn't Terry tell you about me?
Well, she did
because
after I heard your name. I told her, and she says, "Oh yeah, I was with him at midnight."
So we did. Terry, the female protagonist, and I had been in literally in like April and May. We had done a production of Midsummer Night's Dream in Providence.
Okay.
And so she was the female protagonist.
Yeah.
And when someone else recommended me, she was like, "Oh yeah, I just worked with Ace. She played opposite me." In Midsummer Night's Dream.
So you guys already had some chemistry from working together.
We had some chemistry, yeah, because we played the 4 lovers in Midsummer Night's Dream. It was we were 2 of the lovers, so we already had a relationship,
right?
And she was like, yeah, Nick, you should definitely check him out.
So we did. So the screen test was not the screen test where I did it at a like a hotel. It was at a banquet center.
No,
it was in the median strip on Chalkstone Ave.
It was
Blackstone
Boulevard.
Blackstone
in
Boulevard.
front of a bush.
In front of a bush.
Seriously?
Yeah.
He literally pulled out a video camera, and said, "Okay, read these lines."
And I said, "You got the job, you want it." And then he just says, "Well, I got to go. I'm going to start selling drugs." And
I had literally just gotten the word that I got the job at the pharmaceutical company. And I had only auditioned because I was like, what's the chances of me getting this job and getting this role?
Obviously pretty good.
It turned out
But you know,
terrific.
but the problem was my pharmaceutical role was in Western Mass.
Right.
So
We've
I
talked
was
about that
I was
before, yeah.
moving I was moving out to Western Mass. I was living in Springfield, and the issue was, so basically literally from July of 97
Mhm.
through January of
January.
98.
Yeah.
January of 98, I was living in Springfield and coming back every weekend
To shoot.
because that was when we would shoot.
Because you shot this all in
All in Rhode
Providence.
Island. All in Rhode Island.
All
and-
over
or
state.
Rhode
and,
Island. Rhode
a
Island.
little bit in Somerset, Mass. But yeah, we're between Rhode Island and Southeastern
Okay.
Mass.
Okay.
Yep.
New Bedford.
Yeah, New
we
Bedford.
were New Bedford. That was the
So-
funny shoot.
That was fun.
All the shoots are funny. I
Yeah.
mean, they were anecdotal stories to every single aspect.
Every
of this
shoot,
movie.
right.
There was nothing was like easy. No.
Yeah. He was every one of a lot of the places were literally his customers.
Yeah.
From his day job.
So basically, you, like you said, this drew from your real life experience.
Yeah.
So you had the picture in your head. So you kind of already knew, okay, this location for this story, this location
Exactly.
for this story.
Exactly. And I knew enough people and enough connections that I was able to beg for these places and get them. And they, I'll tell you, the people were so gracious. The owners of the company.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah, they let us in on weekends. They
Oh,
gave
that's
me
awesome.
the keys to their offices, and we'd go in. We basically had a studio to use for the entire weekend, kind of thing. And all the other stuff was shot guerrilla style without any permits. We just go in shooting stuff in streets.
Were there any of those, like you said, guerrilla style ones where you thought there's no way we're going to get this?
Well,
And somehow you pulled it off and you're like, and afterwards you're like, holy shit, how did we get that?
we
Yeah.
did. We
Yeah.
did. And there was a scene where Ace and his best friend in the film are walking down a street
Providence.
in
In downtown
downtown
Providence.
Providence. And it was a foggy evening. And God damn it, if there weren't planes leaving TF Green, flew right overhead and ruined the audio.
Yep.
Okay. All of a sudden you hear this roar. You know, I'm taping him.
We
This is
literally had to go back in, and I learned what ADR is, which is after the fact. So me and him had to go back into the studio and record our like we had to
audio
overdub.
clips.
Okay.
We had to overdub and read lips and record the audio over.
Yeah, you had to
because there
time
was
it
a fucking
perfectly
plane.
with what you said.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
and
was so
and
crazy.
and it was car traffic too. So coincidentally, we knew the scene was going to be. It was like about maybe 30 seconds of
Yeah, it wasn't
dialogue,
long, right?
but the walking and the talking. And so I'm looking way down Water Street, waiting for cars to like stop at a stoplight, and I go, and then they start coming at me. And son of a bitch, all of a sudden you got
All of
headlights.
a sudden, a
and
car
you got
comes
going.
by, and you hear.
And if it wasn't that, it was a jet flying over from TF Green. He has like, God damn it.
Like, son of a bitch, there's another $40.
So
There's
then
another $200.
That's the difference between you and Robert Rodriguez
Right,
and Martin
exactly.
Scorsese.
No, but
They
listen
could
to
pause air traffics for their shots.
So
Yeah.
this is great. Here's a side story to this. After the film was made and I was doing some interviews and somewhere, Cianci's he had a film office in Providence, and
Mhm.
his her name escapes me right now, but she came to me and said, and when I described this horror show trying to shoot this thing with cars and
Yeah.
planes and shit, she said, well, why don't you come to us? She said,
could have
to
blocked
get
it off.
approval. I said, you wouldn't have given me. She said, oh, no. I talked to Mayor Cianci. He said he would have helped you. I'm like, oh, great.
Son of a
The help
bitch.
comes after the
Yeah,
fact.
right.
Yeah.
He would've
Yeah,
given you-
once the envelope gets dropped on his
Okay,
desk.
exactly.
You did. Well, I just finished reading Prince of Providence.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I get the envelope thing.
Yeah, he would have thrown a couple of jars of sauce too.
Once you donated to his reelection
Yeah,
fund,
exactly.
he would have helped you out.
You gotta love my marinara.
Now, was there any scene when you were doing this? Like, what was the most difficult scene for you to film? Like, is there a story behind one scene that was
Yeah,
just like,
probably
no matter what we just kept trying and it was so hard, but then
no.
you finally got it?
the probably the worst reshoot was I had a scene that took place in a movie theater. It was Ace and his buddy watching a movie and having having a discussion. and what happened with that was I just kind of misjudged the lighting in there.
Okay.
And this was a thing that I invited a lot of friends to fill out the theater to
The
make
audience.
it look like it was there was a full audience. And it was all underexposed, and I had to reshoot. It meant calling all these people back, going back to the theater owner. Can I please come back another day to shoot it? I know what I need to do now.
Right.
I got it on the second shoot, but it was probably the worst because of the fact I needed to contact like 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
To reshoot this thing.
But you know what I loved? There was a scene where I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, jeez.
And I asked the secretary at the office, can I go to the bathroom? And she goes, no, bathrooms are only for employees. And I'm like, can I get an application? And then there's a scene where I'm in a freight elevator.
Going down.
And we're going down. And literally, it looks like I'm alone in this freight elevator. But there's probably 7 of us in there between Guy, the cameraman, Nick, a couple of the sound people. So there's like 7 of us in there, but it looks like I'm alone. And all of a sudden, the joke is the freight elevator starts going down. I have to pee. All of a sudden, it stops. And I'm screaming, no, please let me out. And the whole elevator is actually shaking because Nick is fucking laughing his ass off during the scene. You don't hear him, but you could see the camera shaking from it because his leg is going. When Nick gets excited, his leg would start like going up and down. And I'm surprised that you couldn't see that in the scene. And you almost see me crack up because I'm out of the corner of my eye. I see him laughing his ass off and I almost lose it.
And you know what? I'll give you guys credit because, obviously when Ace told me we were going to have you on, we pulled it up and he showed me a bunch of clips and I ended up watching the whole thing.
The movie. Yeah.
But as he showed me clips, he showed me the elevator clip and he just let me watch it like without telling me anything about it. And afterwards he told me that story and I didn't notice any of that when I watched it at all. And when I watch it back now, I have to really pay attention to pick up on it.
Yeah.
But you don't really notice that.
Well, the memory
because you were there.
Right. I was there. So I felt the whole elevator shaking.
I don't think if you're watching it, you'd pick up on that at all. No, I'm being serious.
My memory of it was that it was so hysterically funny that I kept ruining the take because I was laughing.
Right.
So that was one of only 2 scenes in the whole movie that I directed by not actually watching.
Yeah.
I turned around.
Right. He had to turn around.
I had to turn. I could not watch him. I turned around. I was 180 degrees out from him. And I'm just listening to him. Oh, he's like jumping up and down. And that's when I called cut. I was like, okay. Yeah. It was just so funny. It was just
not only did Nick write the movie, direct the movie. Obviously, he's executive producer because he was responsible for financing the movie. He actually had a role in the movie.
You know why he did that?
Is so funny.
Do you know why he did that?
It's
because
so
again,
funny.
He's such a film buff that he knew that Quentin Tarantino put himself in Pulp Fiction.
Well, Martin Scorsese puts himself in different roles.
Right,
in movies.
exactly.
Alfred Hitchcock put himself in cameos.
So
but
honestly, Nick's role is one of the funniest in the movie.
Hilarious.
Because it's
freaking hilarious.
Because I was being me.
Yeah, you were being you. It was literally like, hey, Nick, you got a minute? And he goes off for like 5 minutes on why he can't help me.
Yes.
And at one point, you almost cracked yourself up because you look back in the room and you go,
I had to get.
I got a pile of debt.
Yes.
Like this. And you start losing your shit.
You know what happened?
So funny.
That was a role that I couldn't fill. I didn't have anyone to take that, and we were at.
You
the
wanted
end.
to have someone else do it, or
no? I had it was intended for an actor, but I couldn't find one, and it was just by accident. It was just fate. It was like we were finishing with the day of shooting. and I still have like a couple minutes of film. You keep track of film, like each roll of film was 11 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you monitor the time, and here I had like 4 minutes of film left, and we're done for the day. And like, shit, you don't want to waste it, and I don't want to hang on to the film. I like to get it processed immediately because it was always
you
sent
wanted
off
the
to lab.
dailies right away.
Wanted processed right away. So I got 4 minutes of film, and I'm like, shit, what else can I do? And I got this scene, but I don't have an actor. And I just said, well, let me give it a shot. But I didn't know the dialogue, even though I wrote it. I'm not memorized it. I wasn't prepared.
It was totally ad-libbed.
So what I tried like ad-libbing at first. I did a dry run, and I was screwing it up royally. So then I took cue cards, and I wrote like notes on what would this guy say if he's like
having a mental breakdown.
This manager with a mental breakdown. So I write all these notes. I put it on a placard inside a room. So here I am. Ace comes up to me, asks for some help, and then I just go off on him. And then periodically I turn into an office, like I'm heading into the office, but I'm really looking at the notes.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my notes.
It makes he makes it look like he's like looking at a pile of requisitions on his desk, but he's looking at the note card.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
I didn't
it
know
was
that.
so funny.
So I pick up a couple, words.
Right.
And I go, and shit, you can't get anybody to help you around here.
Yes.
And then I look back. I'm going back to the office, but I'm really looking at my
looking at his notes.
I'm looking at my
it's so
cue
funny.
The angst that you have in that. It's like you're waiting for this guy to just pop because the anger is just
honestly,
building inside
for
of him.
someone who was looking at
hilarious.
cue cards, he was the second best actor next to me. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't know. But what was fun? What was really crazy?
I'm sorry, buddy. He stole that.
He stole that.
What was
scene.
great?
Absolutely.
What was incredible about this was my nephew, my 13-year-old nephew, is a sound guy. Okay, so he's got the DAT recorder, which is digital.
This is how Gorilla was, folks.
Oh yeah,
They actually had child
labor, no pay.
He was the first. Apple Corporation employing child labor back
his
at the time.
nephew, his 13-year-old nephew, had a like a DAT recorder over his shoulder with a boom mic.
Seriously,
that was who was our sound person.
He's now a 36-year-old
corporate lawyer,
and he's probably going to sue me.
Yeah, right.
If this thing ever makes money, he's going to take all of it from you.
That is gonna. No, anyway, when we call cut on my stream of consciousness, he looks at the meter and goes, "Uncle Nick, that was 2 minutes long." That was a 2-minute stream
and
of
Nick was like, wait, that's 2 minutes out of 11. That cost me how much? Yeah. Exactly.
Oh shit! It was so.
Wait
funny.
a minute. So here's the funny thing. One of our listeners, Jen, goes, "Ace, that poster is cute. You need an IMDb profile."
She's
what
right.
What a perfect segue
Fill her in.
into this.
Here we go.
So hold on, Jen. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to actually show you.
Jen, you had to bring that up.
You had to bring it up. Yep.
I'm going to show you. This is the one IMDb review we have of BOXedMAN. Let me read it to the audience. Too bad. That's the title of the fucking review. Too bad this movie never took off. It's an independent film that was shown locally at a film festival and met with high approval scores, but it never got picked up. There were plenty of laughs. Probably could have used more polishing, but still enjoyable. This is the thing that kills me. Local comedian Ace Aceto in the lead role had a big following in the Rhode Island area. The producers picked him up when he was hot and recognizable. We were hoping his career would take off after this film. Several other local people were used in the movie too. Too bad it didn't make it. That's the fucking one review we got on all of IMDb.
We like them, but too bad it did nothing for them.
Too bad Ace Aceto is a has-been and never made it past anything. This was written in 2006.
I like all the past tense language.
It was 8 years after the movie was released.
Rumors of my death
are greatly exaggerated.
Dude, that was 15 years ago. That was
oh my God. He's still pertinent. He's still alive.
He's still here. This is the movie poster for people who haven't seen it. But you can get it on YouTube if you look up BOXedMAN the movie. You can see it, and it will show the
And,
audio. I don't know why it doesn't work. It's so weird.
Yeah, I know you guys are right. The couple of
Thank
comments. Oh my God, look at Ace.
Ace, are you 12?
you 12?
I was actually 29
Yeah, he was
in that video.
and that was the profile of the actor. I had a guy named Rick, 29 years old, and he shows up 29 years old with the name Rick, and I'm like,
But the funniest part was, Nick would like direct, and he'd be like, okay, in this scene, you're going to go up. It's your 5th office of the day, and you're going to hand them your card, your business card, and they're going to say, no, sorry, we can't see you. And you're going to act rejected. And I had just started a job as a salesperson. So I'm like, oh, I have to act like what happens to me all fucking week. Like, I don't think this is going to be a stretch for me. And so they would literally do that. They would hand me back my card, and I'd look all dejected and walk out.
Yep. And
it really wasn't acting for me. It was drawing from everything I went through that week to pull into the weekend, But so now, all right. So let's get to the progression of what's happened. So we made the movie, and we were honestly, like that IMDb review said, we got pretty good praise at some film festivals, right?
Yep, we did.
So how many film festivals were we accepted into?
Well, we got accepted to many, but the ones that we couldn't actually enter were ones that needed a 35 millimeter print.
That's what it was. So like Nick said earlier, we recorded on 16 millimeter because that was the more cost-effective way of doing it. But I remember Nick saying, in order to get to 35 millimeter, we need $100,000.
Yeah, it was roughly $100,000
to transfer
it over.
Right?
And there was no way I was spending that on top of what I already owed on making the movie.
Which was
just to go to a film festival. Still, there was no guarantee you were going to get picked up. So So I had to decline those, and they were nice offers because it was like, hey, Lisbon, Portugal, we got a hotel for you and all this, and like, okay, cool, but
it ain't worth $100,000.
Right. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, we didn't get picked up at Cannes Film Festival. So I do have a rejection letter from them, which is kind of nice.
That's
How
awesome.
many people can get a rejection letter from Cannes Film Festival?
They
said, sorry, but we're not going to take your film.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So then, but we were in the Newport Film Festival. We were in the Rhode Island Film Festival. We got good reviews from both of them and other film festivals as well. The stumbling block was the fact that we couldn't get it to 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of sat, right?
Yeah. And then we had I had the Farrellys that liked it, but they didn't offer to do anything.
Right.
So that was kind of a disappointment.
And I remember you saying like Fox Searchlight and a couple of movie companies that were like, hey, this is really good, but it's not really what we're looking for this year. Yeah. And then you'd reach out like 5 years later, and there'd be someone different there, and they'd be like, oh yeah, this is a great movie, but I have some notes here that we passed on it. Yeah, well, but that was like someone before you.
Yeah.
Why won't you look at it? You know?
Yeah.
So that's got to be so frustrating for a filmmaker.
The whole thing, which is why I wrote the book.
Right.
It was my frustration over not getting a finality out of the movie that are like, God damn it just can't die here. I gotta take a second swing at it.
Right.
So that took like 15 years. And the reason was I'd be writing the book and I'd be like, fuck, nobody wants to read this thing. I'd put it on a shelf.
Well, I remember you sent me like 3 different times. You sent me a draft of a chapter, and I'm like, this is really good. Like, you're gonna move forward. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'd either be inspired or uninspired, and I'd put it on a shelf and then pull it off the shelf again, start working on it. And then I was in the Army Reserve for most of my adult life, and I got called up for training troops to Iraq and Afghanistan. So that put a total kibosh on writing I didn't even think about. And then I got off active duty, and my business was all in disarray. So I was trying to get that back on track. So after I got that under control, I was like, okay, maybe I'll pull that book off the shelf again, start working on it. So that's why it was like a 15-year incubation period, getting the book done.
And so how did you get noticed by a publisher?
Okay, what?
Because a lot of people lately self-publish.
Right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
become very big.
Right.
Self-publish.
But we all know there's risks in that because you don't necessarily make
Putting out
any
your
money
own money.
in it.
You're
right?
putting your own money up. And
Right.
I was hell bent that I was going to self-publish this thing. I said, if I can't find a publisher, which was going to be probably, zero chance,
Mhm.
I'm gonna self-publish. So after I finished the book and I felt like, okay, it's done. Now I need an editor. Now I have friends that are in the magazine industry,
Mhm.
and they were like, okay, we'll help you find a publisher. They couldn't. I'm trying to find a publisher. I get nowhere. So a friend of a friend connected me with an editor in South County.
Yep.
And
South County, Rhode Island.
Yeah, South County, Rhode Island, rather. Yeah. And she took on my project, edited for me, and then disappeared on me.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, great. I thought she was going to help me, and nothing. So then I sat on it again for a few years. I'm pretty good at sitting on shit.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting on it. And I'm like, fuck, I can't move
catch
it.
a break.
You
right.
can't, yeah. And then I every once in a while I would write her a quick email. Hey, just wondering, publishers.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing? Anyway, she apologized. She had some life things going through, and she said, let me work on it. And God damn it, if she didn't find a publisher who liked it. And they contacted me and sent me a contract, and I'm going, okay, I'm a cynical, pragmatic person, and I'm like, okay, there's something fishy about this thing. So I send it.
Yeah,
to
this is like a 1971 music contract where they're going to take all my publishing
they're going
rights.
to take everything. I'm not going to.
I'm going to make $3 off this fucking book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I sent it to my nephew, who's a corporate lawyer, as I mentioned, and he read it. And he goes, "This is the real deal. This is
the kid that was the boom mic operator."
The boom mic. Yeah. And I'm like, really? So then I sent it to a friend of mine who was in the movie known as The Nose Picker.
Yeah,
He's actually,
it's a great scene,
I
right?
lost sight of him most of the past 20 years, and we've reconnected. And he find out he's an author, and he's written 2 books that have been selling on Amazon.
Yep.
So I contacted him and I said, look at this contract. He looked, he goes, yeah, it's a real deal. I'm like, holy shit. So voila, here we are. I got a book. I mean, it is
so cool.
Unbelievable. And I didn't have to put up my own money
to do
get
it.
This thing do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not about the money. It's about getting validation for the movie.
That's great. That's great, Nick. But remember, there's a lot of us that were told that we were going to get money when the movie made well.
So that was the inspiration for
how
coming
many
out with
words
the
are
book.
about me in there? That's all I want to know.
You're in it constantly.
All right, good.
Ace, we're
So
talking
how
about the
much
book
of a
right now,
cut-
not
yeah,
just
I'm
about
talking
you.
about trying to get money. I did this fucking thing 25 years ago.
I have no idea.
I love you, but you know,
I have no idea what this page.
all right.
is.
Can I just point out that I drove up in a 2004 used Lexus, and you drove up in a fucking Corvette. So let's talk about money.
The new mid-engine design.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I've been driving Corvettes most of my life.
No,
so-
but
Okay.
you know,
All right.
yeah.
All right.
I'm just keeping the
So-
tradition.
something spoke to you that said, I need to write a book about this process.
Yeah.
And that was in your subconscious that I want to put this out there, like you said, because you didn't want to just let this movie die on the vine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you wanted to write this book about this process because you were passionate about it, and it was something that you had out there. So you wanted to tell the story from, I guess, behind the scenes, if you will.
Yeah.
And so that's what made you put the story out there and everything. And how long has the book been out now?
2 weeks, I think, 3 weeks.
So
it was just
it's brand new.
just
brand
came
new.
out.
It's on Amazon. The title is BOXedMAN. I'm going to make a movie.
Why are
And,
you laughing?
Why are you laughing?
Yes.
But when you to look it up just on their
Yeah.
on their search bar, just as BOXedMAN.
I'm going to make a movie.
I'm going to make a movie.
Yep.
which was why you laughing was the response I got from people when I told them I was going to make a movie. They're like, "You're out of your freaking mind."
So you know what's funny? Our friend Jen said your nephew looked over the contract. Did he make sure all the profits go to the sound engineer?
Good one,
Because
Jen.
his nephew was the sound
That's a
engineer.
good one. That's a good one.
That's funny.
He was great though. You know, this was a total volunteer project.
It was
and-
absolutely a passion project because everyone who was part of it did it for the. And I'm as much as I'm busting about money, I don't ever expect to make money off this.
You did
I
it for
did
the
it
experience.
because
money.
it was. I did it for the experience. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I actually wish I could go back because now that I've like done more acting and stuff, I wish I could go back and reshoot scenes
Yes,
where I
of
wasn't
course,
happy
of
with my
course.
performance. But you know, to your one of the things that you said is the nose picker said you should make a movie about the book making the movie.
Yeah.
A la the Disaster Artist. If
Disaster
anyone's
Artist.
ever seen that movie,
You guys could shoot a documentary a la Spinal Tap style.
exactly about making the movie.
We could.
Of
But the other thing
BOXedMAN.
I thought of is, hey, the whole concept of the movie is this young kid who graduates college a little bit late and gets a job as a box salesman and has these mentors that mentor him and this boss and this shitty boss and stuff. But now I'm like, it's 25 years later. Why not make a BOXedMAN 2 where I am now the mentor to a new salesperson?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hollywood, are you listening?
Yeah.
Is there
please.
someone in
BOXedMAN 2,
Because
the
you
next
can't-
generation.
someone out
Listen,
there.
do you still have the fucking 16 millimeter camera?
No, I sold
Oh, you sold it?
Sold
How much did you sell it for?
Two.
Oh my God, you took a loss.
Well, yeah.
You bought it
shit,
for
good.
6,500.
No,
You
yeah,
sold it too?
because everybody's using video now.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's just like Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
When he
It's all on
says
video
video's
now,
the,
Jack.
video's the way to go,
Video's the way
Jack.
to go, Jack. You shoot it cheap.
I
you
hung
get it
on,
out
I
there.
hung on to the camera just for sentimental reasons, and I thought this is pointless. I don't know what point film's going to die.
Yeah.
So I went on the market and I looked,
And you sold
the
it.
value of them was roughly $2,000. So it was like I
Wow.
sold it for market value. It was like, and some guy,
And
some,
who knows if this fucking book sells, people would be like, "Where's that
Where's
camera?
that
Where did
camera?
it go?
Where's that camera?
It could be worth millions of dollars at
Becomes a
Sotheby's."
collector's item.
Exactly. This is the actual camera that was used in BOXedMAN.
Next item on the auction was the actual
Yeah.
camera used for BOXedMAN.
That'll be the follow-up on IMDb. Too bad the fucking camera sold. Too bad Ace Aceto's career went downhill after
After
and meant
that.
shit. And too bad the
camera's gonna have a
sold
better career than you do.
than me. Yeah, the camera's gonna show up at some fucking independent film festival as like a memorabilia item, and I'll be right next to it in a case.
So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So now, obviously both the book and the movie were a labor of love,
Mhm.
which it was one of them harder than the other to do.
It's hard to quantify that, but I'd say the movie, because the movie was logistics. The
Our friend
logistics-
Jen goes, "Oh, Nick, you should expect royalties from at least one book sold. She just bought your book."
Did you? Thank
Yes.
you, Jen.
Oh, thank you, Jen. That's awesome.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. It is a funny read.
Oh, and I love Robin just pointed me out. Almost said "to your point," but you caught yourself. So I say "to your point" all the time to people, and then we have a drinking game where I have to take a drink
Oh,
if
I
we
see.
say "to your
Okay.
point," and I just said it. So let's drink. Clean
Ta-da.
sheets.
To your point, Ace.
To your point. Thank you, Robin. But go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I forgot where we
But
were.
I digress.
I digress.
No, I'm just
No, I think
wondering if because obviously both are big tasks to take on.
The tasks, I'll tell you, making the movie, without a doubt, is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life, the greatest thing I will ever do in my life. Because you look at the end, look at the end credits of a movie, and you see like a million names. Okay,
right.
we had like 6 people. It was my girlfriend was the
Script supervisor, wardrobe supervisor.
wardrobe, but keeping track of all that. My nephew was sound. My friend Guy Weston was camera operator.
Your niece
and my
Liz?
niece Liz and miscellaneous jobs and all these 5 core people, 6 people did everything that does. And then I did all the production planning during the week. I would sit there planning, okay, what am I shooting this weekend? Where are we going? What actors are going to be needed? I'd have to call them, line them up. The scheduling was mind-boggling to do this.
And especially because I was coming from Springfield, Mass, like I said.
Right.
So he'd be like, Ace, when are you getting in? I'd be like, I'm getting in 6 o'clock Friday. Okay, we start shooting at 7. We'd shoot from like 7 to 11 on Friday,
and we're shooting
Saturday all day, Sunday half the day, and then I'd go back to Springfield. And then during the week, we would touch base, and I'd be like, all right, what's going on this coming weekend? Like, I was coming back every weekend.
And you're not shooting the film linearly.
Linearly,
so,
right.
So you're going.
Right.
So I'm going, okay, Ace, we're shooting scene 65, 37, and 102.
So you need two different suits.
The clothes
right.
for those, and then keep track, because when we have to finish up.
I would have to put notes in my script. I still have my original script.
Do you really?
In that closet somewhere.
That's very cool.
I have my original script where it would say blue suit, red tie, blah, 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 like for each scene, because certain scenes were filmed, even though they were filmed non-linearly, they were filmed on different days, but for the same day in the movie.
Right.
So I'd have to be wearing the same suit.
Right.
We all took care of that.
Yeah, for continuity, you had to have.
And I don't even know if we had any continuity.
There is
really?
I know where it is, and it was a sport jacket that an actor wore. It was supposed
so
to be
it wasn't
the same
me.
day. It wasn't you.
I didn't fuck up.
No,
all right,
no,
good.
No. And I won't even, because I know where it is. There were two.
Who is
there were two things.
Fuck him. Let's call him out right now.
No,
let's call him out.
He's got too much pride
I really
in his
can't
movie.
No,
I'm
it was like
kidding.
it was a sport jacket that was supposed to be the same day, and it was 2 different sport jackets. Nobody picked up on it. And the other thing was, there was a scene where it was after your college graduation.
Yep.
And it was snowing out that day, and we're filming it in like December, so we had to clear snow off of trees in the background,
the bushes
yes, in the camera, because he's in the car having a discussion with someone. It's after he just got hired, so it was
with the older mentor,
guy, his mentor. So
and there was snow on the bushes. Yeah, I remember
but
that.
There was one corner of the rear window of the car that there's still a little bit of snow on, and you can see it. If you're looking for it, you can see the snow, and you're like, shit, there's the dead giveaway that it wasn't summer.
It was supposedly summer.
Oh, and then how about the Halloween Thanksgiving shit that was outside at Davenport's restaurant?
Oh,
it was Thanksgiving time. And he just graduated college, right?
Yeah, right.
So
it's supposed to be June.
They had his corn stalks.
Well, he was a slow learner.
Yeah. It was
great.
I remember that one. Yes.
So, and Ace, what did you do to prepare for your nude scene?
The nude scene. Which one was that?
That was on page 116.
Chapter 7.
That was page
Chapter
116. No, actually,
he
what
wore
was
the red
interesting-
tie for that one.
Honestly, can I tell you?
Yeah.
The most uncomfortable scene to shoot. It was after production.
Yep.
You were like, you know what?
Terry's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were like, you know what? I feel like we need a kissing scene between you two. Meanwhile, this woman was pregnant the whole time we were fucking filming.
Oh.
And I'm like,
now she had her baby.
Now she had her baby, and he goes, I need a
husband.
kissing scene. I'm in the kitchen. And the scene is I'm cooking dinner for her, and I'm making like Italian gravy for her. And at one point we're talking, and I have to kiss her. She has a baby and her husband in the other room, and I have to fucking kiss her. I'm supposed to make out with her. It was the most uncomfortable. Literally, as soon as the scene was done, I ran to the other room and went to her husband. I'm like, Dave, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel horrible. I feel horrible.
It's a movie.
And he's like, no, it's all right. It's all right. I know, but it was just weird.
Yeah.
Kissing her in her own kitchen with her husband and newborn baby in the other room was fucking weird.
Well, they're now divorced, so
are they?
I'm not saying anything.
All right. Well, so am I. So maybe that's what started it.
Maybe that's what started it. Yeah, we're all divorced eventually.
Wow.
But yeah, there was definitely some uncomfortable situations
Yeah.
that we were put in.
Yeah.
The funny one, I was thinking about it. We did a scene at a farm in Somerset. The
Yeah.
farmer, and he played in it. He was in it because you sold him boxes. So all his
Yeah.
customers were in the movie, right? But I remember him. I remember you saying
That's so
to me,
horrible.
but I remember you saying to me,
Yeah.
this guy is hard of hearing. He can't hear shit.
Yeah.
And at one point during the scene, you see him go, huh? It was so fucking funny. I almost busted out laughing because I knew what Nick had said. And then the guy goes, huh? And I'm like, oh shit. Do I laugh? Is this real? You know? We had
Yeah.
so much fun filming
We
this
did.
movie.
It was
Remember when-
an event
so-
of a lifetime.
You see that my sleazy boss ends up getting let go. And then you're like, what happens to him after? Oh, he's delivering pizzas. So we go
Yeah.
down the street to
Yeah.
the pizza place. But the funny thing is, as we're filming him delivering pizzas, he has a stack of 6 pizza boxes.
Empty. They're all empty.
They're all empty.
It's
So
windy.
a gust of wind comes by, and one of
No.
the pizza
Blew
boxes
the
fucking
pizza
flies
box.
away. And you're like, there's no way that's going to happen if there's an actual fucking pizza in there. But it was so fucking funny.
But I had to leave it in because $38.
$38 a minute, exactly. And that was 30 seconds worth. So that was,
I was like,
that was,
okay, we'll live with it. No one will pick
that
up
was
on the fact that the-
$16.50 that he was paying
I
for
know.
that scene.
the pizza box flew
What
off.
what an amazing story. Like you said, you know, to put together, you know, this small production of a movie, and then, you know, to pull it off,
Yeah.
get it into festivals, and now years later you get to relive it with the launch of the book and to talk about it. I mean, congratulations. That's a great achievement.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Reading the book. I mean, I wrote it over so long that it's been ages since I've actually absorbed it as one whole entity. And after I got it back from the editor and I read it, and I'm going, holy shit, this is really funny.
Exactly.
And this is
Yeah.
a surrealistic.
Yeah, you
experience.
finally get a chance to kind of step back
Right.
yeah,
and look
yeah.
at it, you know,
Look at
from that view,
And you know what?
really appreciate it.
I really hope someone like with some power reads it and
I do
goes,
too.
this is a really funny story. We need to do something.
Does
with
anyone
this, you
out
know?
there in viewer land or within earshot know Oprah?
Yeah, right.
We need
This would be a
Oprah.
great thing.
We need,
No,
I even looked
gotta
up.
show you.
She does it. You can't solicit Oprah. She's
No,
gotta
no.
find you.
Right.
Here's
Right.
the funny thing. This is what one of our
Yeah.
viewers just
Yeah,
commented,
Okay.
and it's so funny because it's something that was said during the movie.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
You ready? So Robin goes, do boxes actually need a salesperson? Isn't that something that people just purchase like toilet paper?
No, it is not.
Robin,
Highly-
the funny thing is there's a scene in the movie where I'm talking to my best friend and he goes, wait a minute, you took a job selling boxes? You're selling something that people just put merchandise in? Like,
Yep.
And that is the whole premise of the movie.
That is a premise.
Why is this guy selling boxes? That's what grocery stores give away. That's
Yeah.
what his line was.
But-
you're selling something that grocery stores just give away?
Robin, I can tell you after being in the industry for 51 years,
Holy shit.
it is so damn competitive.
Mhm.
It's dog eat dog, and we're not just selling brown boxes.
Now I'm
We're making-
intrigued.
Huh?
Well, all I remember is there's A through F flutes, and that's how much corrugation is in the box.
Wow.
He taught me
He
that
maintained that
because
unbelievable all
I
these years.
had to sell to a couple of customers, and he goes, all right, here's what it is. There's A through F flutes.
No.
And this is
you're
the
not,
corrugation
you're
size
not-
and blah, blah,
You
blah.
are not forcing that information into my brain right now.
No.
Absolutely.
You
but
are
I
not
am.
doing that. To
I
me.
just did.
Just to elaborate one step further, talking about the competitiveness of the business. Probably a lot of people don't know that if you're a New England Patriots fan, Robert Kraft is the owner of a very large box company who's a competitor of mine.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What's the name of the
The name of
company?
his company is Rand Whitney Container.
Oh, that's right. Rand
Oh,
Whitney.
and their
Rand Whitney.
names are inside the stadium.
Really?
Their salespeople have a little Patriot logo on the bottom of their business
All right.
card, kind of tell them.
So why don't you go work for them so you can get some fucking Patriots tickets and bring us to a game?
I love the company I work for. We're probably the closest competitor of Kraft's business. Our product lines are allied with theirs.
Oh, Robin, no,
and
no.
I'm really no. The company I work for is Abbott Action. In case you people are out there looking to buy boxes.
He's
It's
still
good
working.
us. So I'm
He's
still
still
working.
working in the
Yeah, no, I
industry.
work with a wonderful company. So yep, still working.
That's funny.
Competitive though, it's not an easy business.
All of a sudden,
no.
our friend Robin said, "Not a Patriots fan. Sorry,
Okay.
go Cowboys." But
And
Scott-
she lives in Denver.
Scott said,
Oh, does she?
"No.
No,
No.
not the Cowboys.
Well, listen,
Not the Cowboys.
this has been awesome. I'm so glad we got
Yes.
to have you on. I've
So
been
glad you
talking
invited.
about
Thanks.
you. I've been talking about you and the movie for so long.
This movie has been something that has come up on the podcast for over the last 5 years. Every once in a
Yeah.
while it pops up. It's part of Ace's past. So to bring it up tonight and to talk about the movie and now the book is such a full circle moment for
Yeah.
us, which is great. And you're an important part of his past because of this. So
Absolutely.
it was great to have you here tonight to talk about it. And people can get the book where, Nick?
Through Amazon. It's listed under, you go to books and then BOXedMAN. I'm going to make a movie, and it's available paperback and Kindle.
Great. And if you're
and hardcover.
And if you're listening, go to the show notes and I will have a link to the book in there, and definitely pick up the book. It's going to be a great read about, like he said, these guys put together a independent film that they had to, do some guerrilla shooting.
You know what? It was
they had to
truly
put some stuff
independent.
together, and it was a group of people that just believed in what they were doing, and nobody got paid, but they had passion for this project, and they pulled off a very funny movie, and you could see the movie on YouTube as well.
And it was truly independent.
Yeah.
Like when you
It
hear of
really,
it,
really was.
nowadays, when you hear someone made an independent movie, it's like a $5 to $10 million budget. Nick
Right.
shot this on a $36,000 budget.
Right.
No, it was a little more than that.
Well, that was the original
of-
budget. How
that was
much did it
original.
end up being?
It was between 50 and 60, and
Wow.
I had opportunity to get investors that were throwing money at me. I could have easily taken in hundreds of thousands of dollars. I didn't have.
You wanted
the nerve-
creative control.
No, it wasn't
No?
that. I couldn't.
You
face
were afraid
people.
of it.
I was
if
afraid.
it failed.
I recognized
Yeah.
that it was a long shot, and I couldn't face people to say, "Oh yeah, well, I spent you 50 grand, and I'm sorry, I don't have anything to show."
But let me ask you, in hindsight,
Yeah.
with the hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially,
Yeah.
what do you think would have happened if you had that $100,000 to
Nothing.
get it to 35
Would have
millimeter?
made that much of a difference?
Who knows? That's
Because
that's the path you didn't take, and you don't know.
When I have people watch it,
Yeah.
I have to explain to them, like, understand every movie you've ever seen
Mhm.
looks like this
Mhm.
before they clean it up in editing.
Yeah.
Like the people don't realize how like raw the footage of every movie looks until it's edited.
No, but if you
to-
shot it in 35, it wouldn't look as raw. It's
Really?
look a little raw because it's 16.
It's
16
Okay.
is a smaller format than 35. If they would blow it up, it wouldn't look like it would not have looked like we shot it in 35.
Okay.
It would look like it was embellished. And who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the path you didn't take.
Right.
it
No,
just,
I always
you know,
wondered
you
that.
can
though.
But
always
I didn't want to. I couldn't face people who offered me money that if it still ended up with the same result as I didn't get the movie sold, I'd have to face them and go, "Hey, sorry, I lost you 50 grand. Thank you very much."
Right.
I'd rather, I just had too much
Think-
pride. I said,
things
"Suck it, I'm
happen
sucking it
for a
up."
reason,
It is,
and
I
it
do.
probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have been the same movie had you done that.
It's hard to say. Who knows?
No,
It's the
but
path I did.
there's
Yeah.
a reason that
Yeah.
you followed the path that you did,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you had the movie you had because of that, and now you have the book
it
because
was
of
more
that.
my conscience than anything.
Right.
I
Right.
just
Right.
couldn't.
And when you do something like this, you got to follow your heart and your conscience.
Yeah.
You have to,
which
Yeah.
I did.
You have
which
to.
I did. Yeah.
So
Well, listen, honestly,
Awesome.
it's a hilarious book. I've seen different versions of the manuscript. I haven't read the whole book,
Yeah.
But it is an account of making this movie, which was really a passion project by everyone.
Mhm.
Like as soon as he told me, listen, I can't pay you, but we're gonna do something great, and it really felt like that as we were doing it.
Yeah.
I was so invested in this movie,
Of course.
because it was so much fun. And honestly, if he called me tomorrow and said, you know what, I got a script for BOXedMAN 2, I'd be in.
I'd be in too. Oh
no
shit!
pay,
I'd be in.
it doesn't matter.
I'd be in. I'd be in.
And now
Yeah.
that your nephew is a lawyer and doesn't have time, I'll hold the boom mic.
Yeah, there you go. Scott will
I'll
hold the boom
mic.
mic while your nephew David actually works out the fucking legal details
Yeah.
for us.
He
Now
doesn't
that
have
he could do
time,
that.
so I got you back with the boom mic.
You know,
Oh,
No.
great.
it's
So,
awesome.
Nick, thank you so much for coming in. This
Thanks
was
for having
such
me.
a treat.
It was a blast. being with you guys.
Everybody that's listening, please pick
Check
up the
it
book.
out.
It,
Yeah.
You know, it'll be well worth the read. It's definitely behind the funny as far as Ace's past.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's
so-
very entertaining. Like I said, even the versions of the
Yeah.
manuscript that he sent me, they're very entertaining. It's
Right.
very much, hey, I'm a regular guy trying to make a fucking movie.
Yeah.
right.
And that's really what it is.
That's what it
It's
is.
a
It
regular guy trying to make a movie.
And he pulled it off.
and he pulled it off.
And he pulled
you
it
know?
off.
And it's a really cool little movie.
Thank
Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
And everyone,
Bye, everybody.
thank you so much for joining us. Join us again next week. And other than that, Ace,
We will see you
next week.